Kempire is brought to you by. First off, thank you guys so much for always supporting any way that you can, from liking videos, sharing our content. But most importantly, what we need you to do is rate our podcast. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. This will take us to the next level. This will allow us to show up on other pages and homes that aren't currently following the Kempire Podcast. As you know, here in the Kempire Podcast, it's not just a regurgitation of all the other things that you get on other platforms. We have special episodes, special content, exclusive content to the Kempire Podcast. If you are just listening to this for the very first time, take some time out of your day and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And let us know what you love about the Kempire Podcast. Thank you in advance. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Okay. All right. Sorry for being late. I wasn't even planning to go live again. I wasn't even planning to go live again. I told you I had errands. If you were here for our Real Housewives of New York City and our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap, then you knew I had a busy day. I had errands to run. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We appreciate you guys being here for this impromptu live about Real Housewives of Potomac. Their taglines we have to talk about. We have to talk about Karen Huger. Because if you were here for our recap of Karen Huger and the Real Housewives of Potomac this past week, you know I was perturbed with how she's been handling this DUI and the 9 citations. Has anyone clipped the video and sent it to Gizelle so they can work on the GNA version of the 9 citations? Do I have to create it myself? I probably would do a better job anyway. I probably would do a better job anyway, to be honest with you. Okay? All right. Okay. Hey, Rahina. Hey, Rahina with the hair. Okay? All right. So before we get into the Real Housewives of Potomac news that I want to get into, including their taglines for season 9, I did want to let you guys know about an update in regards to another Bravo show, Shahs of Sunset. So a lot of people have been waiting for Shahs of Sunset to return. No, this is not an announcement that Shahs of Sunset is returning, but you might recall the news of Mike from Shahs of Sunset came out before they were canceled, and everyone blamed him for them being canceled. So TMZ, first of all, I don't know. I just trigger warning. If you watch this video, you see this video of Mike putting his hands on his then girlfriend and fiance who we've seen on Shahs of Sunset. So they say this: Mike Shouhed is entering a diversion program after his alleged 2022 assault of his then fiance, Paulina Ben Cohen. And TMZ has obtained the shocking video of the violent incident. Okay? The Shahs of Sunset alum went to court Tuesday where a judge ruled he must enter 1 year of mental health diversion program after he was arrested in 2022 and charged with assault and battery. So a protective order for Paulina has been issued, and Mike must not use or threaten force or violence. Ben Cohen, Paulina, filed a civil lawsuit against Shouhed earlier this year over the alleged incident, and while she and her lawyer included screen grabs from the clip into the lawsuit, this is the first time the full video has been seen. That's why I was sort of like, didn't we see the video? No, we saw the screenshots. We never saw the video. I still have not watched the video because I have to be look, we're covering the Diddy of it all. I can't take all this negativity in, especially when it's men being violent towards women. So she says this video was also shared with law enforcement. So in the clip, you see Paulina yanking clothes off of a rack in her closet when a man she says is Mike comes up behind her, grabs her by the hair, and throws her to the ground while the clothes rack falls on top of her. He then grabs her, appearing to smother her face while she's on the ground before seemingly trying to take her phone from her. Paulina then throws objects to chase him out of the walk-in closet. The video then moves to a child's playroom. Remember, she has a kid or kids. I can't remember. The Shahs of Sunset hasn't been on so long. Like, this is, like, I'm not going to show you the screen grabs or anything like that because, again, I don't know if some of you have been through DV before. I don't want to trigger you guys. All right? So the video then moves to a child's playroom where the man grabs Paulina from behind and puts his arms around her throat, appearing to choke her while throwing her around the room. You've seen Paulina and you've seen Mike. Mike is not a little man. We also have seen Mike be aggressive on the show, so we're not completely shocked, are we? So, appearing to choke her while throwing her around the room, Paulina responds with several slaps and punches to his face and head. During the incident, Paulina claims that Mike said that he'd never leave the house and went to get a firearm, which is when she says that she and their live-in nanny called the police. When they arrived, Mike was arrested after cops say that they saw visible marks on Paulina's body. According to court documents, prosecutors agreed to let Mike enter a diversion program back in 2022 that included anger management classes, community service, and gun safety, of course. But we're told that the city attorney's office appealed some of the rulings, which is why he's only entering the program now. Because I was about to say, this happened in 2022. What caused the delay? In the lawsuit, Paulina claims that this was not the first time Mike had attacked her, claiming that they got into another fight in 2021 over Mike allegedly texting another woman. Some of this cheating behavior and some of this abusive behavior we saw documented on Shahs of Sunset. Paulina is suing Mike in a civil case for assault and battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and gender violence. Mike's attorney tells TMZ, quote, "This is not the full video." Here we go. The altercation initiated in the living room. My client was trying to stop her from yelling because the kids were asleep. Oh my God. Sidebar. Okay, I have to say this because we talked about the Netflix show Worst Ex Ever. Part of the problem that we saw throughout Worst Ex Ever is that this country, these states' DV laws need to be handled a lot better and a lot more strict, because a lot of the reasons why these abuses and actual murders happened was because a lot of these men and women, got away with this kind of behavior without actual jail time. The first episode of Worst Ex Ever, that guy, he had accusations of DV. He was arrested for DV, and he still was able to walk the streets only till he ended up taking someone's life. So this is just a reminder of this. This was like a slap on the wrist. I think he needs some jail time and some diversion therapy. So, according to Mike's attorney, this is not the full video. The altercation initiated in the living room. My client was trying to stop her from yelling because the kids were asleep. My client didn't want her to smoke inside the house because there's a child with health issue and it's not in their best interest. Any excuses better than none? No. No. His attorney continued, "What's shown in the video is my client trying to calm her down. And that's when he goes behind her and tells her not to yell. There's way more to the video than provided, and this is why my client is getting the diversion that he is." All right. Look, all right. Fine. But like I said, if you haven't seen Worst Ex Ever, it is a little triggering. Again, if you've been through a situation like this, you might not be able to watch it. But for me, watching Worst Ex Ever on Netflix clearly says that there is a problem with our DV laws here in America, because we had a case after case that proved if they had taken proper action with these individuals that were clearly doing DV in the home, that they could have prevented actual deaths. Just saying. Train with Maine says, being in an abusive relationship is detrimental and downright cruel. It took me a minute to trust men again. I'm still single now because of it. See? This happens more than people think, and people are in silence. And this is why it's so important when you see victims speak out. If you have nothing nice to say, look, no one's saying that you have to believe anybody. But if you have nothing nice to say, it's best not to say anything at all. So that's the update in regards to Mike from Shahs of Sunset. I wanted to mention it because we are talking about Bravo. So I know why you're here. You want to hear about Karen Huger. But before we get into that, Bravo did release the taglines. Yay! So as always, we're going to rate them. We're going to rate them. And as always, if you're watching the replay of this and, of course, live chat, feel free to let us know how you would rate each tagline. I don't know why the taglines are coming out so late. And one of the things I keep forgetting to mention when we do our Real Housewives of Potomac recap is the budget is budgeting over at Potomac because, normally they get the short end of the stick, but their little transition introductions as they go into whoever's scene, it's actually... the budget is up. I like it. The graphics are up. Okay. But anyways, let's go through the taglines and then let's talk about Miss Huger. Mrs. Huger. We see you, Ray. Okay. Jupiter says Miss Huger if you're nasty. Okay. See, we can never be serious here. We can never be serious. All right, let me focus. Let's get into these Real Housewives of Potomac taglines, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. Let me bring up Gizelle's first. Gizelle. So, let me bring this over because you're not going to be able to see it. Okay. So Gizelle says, when the girls are away, it's time for Gizelle to play. I mean, it's not bad. And when she says the girls are away, all of her daughters are getting older and they're moving out. So this is what she's talking about. When the girls are away, it's time for Gizelle to play. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's not great either. And this is why people don't really love Gizelle. Because it's like, girl, give us something. Give us something. This was okay for me. I'm going to give this a 6.5. It was just all right. It was just all right for me. And 6.5 might be generous. Okay. NASA says it's cute. See? All right. Foxy says, I actually liked Gizelle's tagline. I feel like it's okay. It's not great to me. This is on the move set. Negative 1.75. Here we go with the gymnastic numbers. Okay. Come on. Oh, that girl Dre says, basic like her. Fine. Replay crew, you will let me know what you think. Elijah gave it a 2. Damn. Oh, come on. All right. Let me get to the others. Okay. So that's Gizelle's tagline. All right. Let's see Dr. Wendy Acefo's. Dr. Wendy Acefo says, I quit grading, but I'm still passing judgments. I quit grading because, she quit her job as a professor, but I'm still passing judgments of the group. This was okay for me too. This was okay. Like, it's clever, but this is just okay for me. Like, I'm not like, yes, it's okay for me. I'm going to give this a 7, maybe a 7.5. I quit grading, but I'm still passing judgment. It's clever. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I'm going to give it a 7.5 for me. How would you grade Dr. Wendy Acefo's tagline? Oh, you see, look. Millie says, I love me some Dr. Wendy. Foxy says, I did not love that one. Jamaki says, I like it. Foxy gave it a 5. Okay, so on the move is great. It's gone up. A 5.63. How are we coming up with these numbers? See, Nasser, I kind of like what you're saying. Nasser saying, I quit grading, but I'm still passing shade. Maybe or still shading. Maybe. Look, maybe. I quit grading, but I'm still shading. Maybe. Or I'm still shady. I don't know. It's okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible. We've heard some terrible ones, okay? How would you grade Dr. Wendy's tagline? I'm seeing some low scores, though. Scherster says an 8, though. Oh, Vicky on Facebook says, 2. Oh, Vicky. Nubian says 5. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 5s. Tiffany says 5, which is not bad. 5 out of 10 is not bad. I mean, it's not great either, but it's all right. Let's move on. All right. So, Mia is the queen this season. Kidding. I'm kidding. Mia says marriage can't be temporary. Wait, no, marriage can be temporary, but ink is permanent. INC, meaning her short man. I mean, her boyfriend. Marriage can be temporary, but ink is permanent. I actually think it's clever. I think this is good, especially with the play on words. Does it move me? Not really. But I see what she's talking about. Marriage can be temporary, but if you're married, you're probably like, this woman doesn't take marriage seriously, so you're already annoyed with her. But I think this is good. I'm going to give this an 8. I think this is good. Marriage can be temporary, but ink is permanent. How would you rate it? Allie said a -4. I think some of you are scoring these on the fact that you might like someone or you might not like someone. I need you to give a score based off what is said. Okay. Tish says, clever for Mia. These housewives don't come up with these taglines. I mean, they give some of the taglines, but they don't get to choose which one. They find out when we find out which one was chosen for them. Hey, Linda. Linda just joined us. Nubian gave it an 8. I'm seeing some 7s from Dre. Okay. Julia gave it a 9. Oh, Train with May says, it's a fail for me. Not even a score. It's a fail for me, but it's cute for her. Cute like her man. All right. That was Mia's. Did I give it a score? Yeah, an 8. I gave it a score. Sometimes I get into this and I forget to score. All right. So I'm going to bring up your next favorite girl from the Real Housewives of Potomac season 5 taglines. Jamaki says, can't separate them. Sorry. Damn. Ashley Darby says, from kiddie pools to the dating pool, I'm ready to dive in. From kiddie pools to the dating pool, I'm ready to dive in. Clearly, her storyline this season is that she's dating. Still not divorced, but she's dating. Look, I can separate the fact that I don't love Ashley. Okay? Especially based off the preview for next week. And she's chased, after they've been kicked out of the Gizelle's event, Ashley's running after them for a donation. Okay, Ashley. Okay, fine. From kiddie pools to the dating pool, I'm ready to dive in. It's just okay for me. Honestly, if I'm going to give 6.5 to Gizelle, I'm going to give this a 7. More so, I think a 6.5, but I'm going to give her a 7 because she tried, I think. She says she's ready to dive in. Honestly, I could care less about seeing Ashley date. I'd much rather see regular Robin. I've been mentioning Robin a lot lately, just so I can say regular Robin. I'd much rather see regular Robin divorce Juan. No, I'm not trying to say that I want divorce, but we know that's not a real relationship. I'd much rather see her divorce Juan and go on dating. I'd much rather see that from from Robin than Ashley. All right, I'm seeing 2s. I'm seeing 3s. Oh, Rasani gave her a 3. She said she's been dating. Come on. Y'all ain't right. I mean, she has been dating, though. But that's her storyline this season. Can't be bothered. I hope you had a fantastic birthday. Shout out to anyone celebrating a birthday today. All right. Let's move on because I want to get to the Karen of it all. All right. Stacy, newbie Stacy, who I'm liking. How are you guys feeling about Stacy? Stacy says, I know how to host a show and steal one too. Here's the thing. I heard that there's a video of them saying it, and sometimes they don't deliver in regards to saying it. But when I read it, it sounds better than how she says it. She says, I know how to host a show and steal one too. I like this one. I don't love this one, but I like this one. I like this one more than the ones we've just read. You know what I mean? I know how to host a show because, you know, she hosts a QVC and she was a news anchor. And she says, and steal one too. It will be interesting. Only time will tell. Does she steal the show for the rest of the season? I think this is good. I'm going to give this an 8.5. I like this one, Stacey. I like Stacey so far on the show because she seems level-headed. She doesn't seem like she's in for creating pre-produced scenes. And this is coming on as, and maybe because she's been on QVC, so she knows how to be personable. That might be it. You know, a lot of people say, Lorena says she reminds me of Kenya somehow. Yeah, a lot of people say that they kind of see a Kenya-esque-ness in her. Different personalities, though. Very different personalities. Dre says, sassy, I like it, an 8. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I like it. Nubian gave it a 7.5. All right. Replay crew, we want to hear how you would rate these taglines from the Real Housewives of Potomac ladies. All right. Let me move on. Kiarna. Okay, Kiarna. So a lot of people have been holding Kiarna up, blowing smoke up her, you know what, saying, yes, girl, she's the best ever. Sidebar, did we not comment on her blonde wig confessional? Kiarna, I didn't love that look on you. I didn't love that. It was giving, it wasn't even giving what Uba was giving. It wasn't giving this. Where's my Uba picture? It wasn't giving this. It was giving more like Baps or something. Like, I didn't love it. Oh. But you know what I do like? Her tagline. She says, I own a business, I mind my business, and I stand on business. Woo! What? 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 Come on. She says, I own a business, I mind my business, and I stand on business. I'm going to give it a 10 because the minute I heard it, I said, okay, Kiarna. I'm giving that a 10. 10. 10s across the board. I need to get the numbers. So when we do this, I can just do numbers. I like it. I own a business because she does own a business, a thriving business down there in Baltimore. She says, I mind my business and I stand on business. Come on, Kiarna. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jay says that was corny. Jay, are you talking about Kiarna's or maybe look, maybe you're behind. Look, see, Nubian agreed with me. It was giving Babs, but we still love Kay. We still love Kay. This was my favorite so far. All right. Kiarna. And last and definitely least, Karen Huger. Oh, look, Allie says you're grading on a curve. That's what he said. Oh, it's too early. That's what you're going to get from Kempire After Dark. Don't forget, guys, Kempire After Dark is coming to Los Angeles on November 20th at the Bourbon Room. Tickets are now available. London, we're coming to your city December 8th. And we might do some other special things. So heads up, London. And for those that might be getting your flight and hotel and stuff like that, there might be other activities while I'm in London. But make sure you come to the Kempire After Dark, a live experience for the first time in London. Can't wait. I got to polish up my accent. No. Okay. Get your tickets tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, AEG presents the Kempire After Dark, a live experience. Yes, AEG presents Kempire After Dark, live experience coming to London town. I got to get me some cute outfits. Okay. All right. Shersa says, not last and definitely least. All right. Karen Huger's tagline. Darling, I am the fence and the gatekeeper. So is every season she's going to use the fence? Girl, if you start saying twerking on the fence, everybody knows who originated that. Look. Everybody know who's if you start saying I'm twerking on a fence next season, I will sue you. I will sue you. Okay? Just saying. Anyways, I don't remember the time, y'all. I think like 9 a.m. your time. Look, your time, not my time. 9 a.m. I think your time. 9 or 10 a.m. your time. Check out the link in the description. I think it says it. Look, check out the link in the description. Exactly, Luz. Luz, can you sue them for me? Luz says copyright. How would you guys rate Karen's tagline? Darling, I am the fence and the gatekeeper. Girl, we're worried about you running over our fence. Oh, damn. No, I heard this. I was like, okay, it's not bad. It's not great. But after we get into this next story, you'll see why I'm even more perturbed by Karen and this fence that she's always talking about. If I had to rate Darling, I am the fence and the gatekeeper, it was just okay. I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm gonna give it a 5. Just saying. I'm gonna give it a 5. That's all. How would you rate Karen's tagline from 1 to 10? Okay. Oh, Shersa says send it back. It's a 0. Arja says, Kempire, that was so shady, but not far from the truth. Just saying. Sorry. Look. Anyways. All right. Oh, hey, French Life. French Life says, Karen better cite her sources. Kempire needs to be referenced. She keeps talking about the fence. Was it too generous? Well, I'm not about to be generous when we talk about this next story. So let's get into why you're really here. Thanks for all of you that are joining us, and shout out to the replay crew of this. Oh, Brycey said, let's be real. It's boring. Okay. All right. Fine. Look, fine. Let me get into this article because Karen Huger is fighting this case. Remember when we were recapping it, one of you in the comment section, well, she can't admit anything on the show because she's actively in the middle of this case. She's fighting this case. Okay, Karen. All right, Karen. Karen's being a Karen to the court. Let me give you an update. In Touch Weekly is exclusively reporting that RHOP's Karen Huger accuses the police of a legal search in the DUI case as she fights to suppress evidence. Why do you want to suppress the evidence, Karen? Is the evidence so damning? Look, she has to do everything that she can possibly do legally and has a right to do legally. I get that. But listen to the details of this. So In Touch writes this. Hold on. Let me just make sure I can see myself. Hold on, y'all. I just want to be able to do this. All right. There we go. All right. So Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen Huger accused police officers of, quote, illegal search following her car crash that led to her being charged with DUI. In Touch can exclusively report. According to court documents obtained by In Touch, Karen, who's 61, asked the prosecutors not to be allowed to introduce certain evidence at her upcoming criminal trial. Do I need to come down to D.C. in December? It's a 2-day trial. Back in March, as you know, Karen was involved in a car accident while driving her 2017 Maserati in Potomac, Maryland. The reality star was accused of crossing a median and hitting multiple street signs. Multiple street signs? The RHOP star was driving alone and no other cars were involved, thankfully. TMZ reported that the police said that Karen was driving in an aggressive manner and too fast for the conditions. The outline said that Karen's airbag deployed from the crash. Karen was arrested over the incident and received several citations. Prosecutors charged Karen with driving under the influence, negligently driving a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, and person, and various other counts. The 2-day jury trial is scheduled for December. Oh, sidebar, Danielle did tell us that the court date during our recap. She told us the court date. So in Karen's motion, she says that she was assisted out of her car after the crash by a neighborhood security guard, as well as Officer Kyle Baxter and Sergeant Brett Trahan. She says that the three took her to the ambulance to do a wellness check. Karen said that she sat in the ambulance for a few minutes, but refused further medical attention. Mind you, didn't she say she hurt her rib and other parts of her body? She said that her husband arrived at the scene and she exited the ambulance and walked to the curb with him. The reality star's lawyer said, quote, after Karen exited the ambulance, Sergeant Trahan grabbed Karen by the arm and told her and her husband that, she, quote, she is not free to leave. This is their side. Karen's lawyer said that the sergeant then started to interrogate Karen by asking, quote, incriminating questions such as, where were you coming from and where were you going? How is that incriminating? How is that incriminating? But look, this is their court case. So she said that he was asking incriminating questions. Where are you coming from? And where were you going? The reality star says that she asked the sergeant why he was grilling her. She said that he told her because you were in an accident and appeared to be impaired. Karen claimed the sergeant then told her, you are not free to leave. Seems fair to me if you seem impaired and you're driving under the influence. In her filing, Karen's lawyer said that Karen answered the sergeant's questions, quote, in violation of her Fourth Amendment right, and provided answers that the couple that could possibly incriminate her in trial. As Sergeant Trahan Sergeant Trahan has Karen in custody and is subjecting her to a legal interrogation, Officer Kyle Baxter arrives to assist Sergeant Trahan in the interrogation of Karen. The motion read, Karen's lawyer said the officer in front of Karen asked his superior, are we getting anywhere? The sergeant allegedly told the officer she understands she is not free to leave. She's not free to leave. Karen said the officer then questioned her about how much she drank. I don't know the rules specifically in Maryland, but I don't know if you need your Miranda rights for a police officer to ask you these questions. You guys will correct me if I'm wrong. The evidence seized in the case was obtained as a result of an illegal search and seizure, Karen's lawyer said. The statements taken from the defendant were involuntary and elicited during an illegal custodial interrogation without the observance of mandatory procedural safeguards required by law, specifically the Fourth Amendment. Karen claimed that the officers were, quote, aggressive, and she was not read her Miranda rights. Therefore, she argued, quote, the interrogation was legal and all statements and police video after her illegal interrogation should be suppressed. Okay? Look, are we going to get to see this police video? Interrogation was illegal and all statements in the police video after her illegal interrogation should be suppressed. So anything that she said to them during that time? Did they take her blood? Did they do a breathalyzer? Like, what are the rules? I've been meaning to find out what are the rules in Maryland, because every state is different, y'all. That's what I have learned is that especially when it comes to DUIs and how they're handled and DUI arrests and how they're handled are different state to state, very different. So the Reality Star asked the entire case to be dismissed. Look, and honestly, all it takes is for the police dropping the ball on their procedures for a case like this to get dismissed. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen here, but all it takes is one thing that they did wrong for a judge to be like, okay, but we shall see. We're not done, though. In the alternative, she requested, quote, that the evidence of her illegal interrogation and all the subsequent police body cam video be suppressed as fruit of the poisonous tree. They said this in, look, some of these court documents, they read like a book, a fairy tale. They said she requested that the evidence of her illegal interrogation and all the subsequent police body cam video be suppressed as fruit of the poisonous tree. Okay. Prosecutors opposed Karen's request to suppress the evidence. They argued the statements and evidence collected were properly obtained. Their lawyer wrote, officers additionally observed the driver of the vehicle, the defendant, unsteady on her feet, swaying, stumbling, and slurring her speech. Furthermore, the initial caller spoke to the officers on the scene and indicated that prior to police arrival, the defendant appeared confused and the caller smelled alcohol when interacting with the defendant. All this stuff is probably being recorded on, first of all, the 911 call, the police report, the body cam footage, probably why she wants the body cam footage suppressed. SAR says it's not going to get dismissed. MC County and police don't play, and they're going to make an example of her, especially because she's a public figure, too. Especially because she's a public figure. And the way she's been conducting herself on the show, I don't think it's going to help her case. And this is her second DUI. A lot of people don't realize that. This is Karen's second DUI. She confirmed that on the show from her own mouth. So prosecutors opposed Karen's request to suppress the evidence. They argued the statements and evidence collected were properly obtained. Furthermore, Karen's statements were not obtained as a result of custodial interrogation because some of her statements were made while emergency medical services, personnel were treating the defendant for potential injuries, meaning that they could ask her these questions probably after she's getting medical attention. Karen's statements made during this time were free and voluntary and were stated out loud while in the presence of police officers. Oh! Additionally, statements made after the defendant was examined by EMS personnel were not obtained as a result of custodial interrogation because Karen's subsequent statements were made while the defendant was temporarily detained pursuant to a traffic stop. The judge has yet to rule. Shortly after the accident, as you know, Karen released a statement addressing the situation. She said, "Thank you all for your prayers and well wishes during this very frightening experience. I am still in shock from last night's incident, but grateful to be alive today. With the passing of my beloved mother, grief comes and goes in waves. And with Mother's Day approaching, it has felt more like a tsunami." This happened in March, right? Look, right? Oh, let me remind myself. Hold on. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, didn't this happen in March? Look, I'm trying to remember when this happened. I didn't. Look, see, like I can't find it really quickly. Let me go back down to her statement. She then, as you know, Karen lost her mom and dad in 2017. Okay? She added in her statement, "Last night I met a girlfriend for dinner. We talked and brought up some very emotional, sensitive topics. I was crying on my way home and saw a car heading right for me. I swerved to avoid the head-on collision, hit the divider and then a tree. I'm hurt, bruised up a bit, but so grateful I am alive. I did receive citations, one of which was unrelated to the incident, which is understandable. But what was most surprising is that the car that almost hit me just drove away. Okay. She ended. She says, I would like to stress it's important to understand your emotional state when driving, and may this be a reminder to all to use their seatbelts. My mother may be my guardian angel, but the seatbelt saved my life. Oh, Karen. Look, Karen. Here's the thing, and we've been saying this. Look, we all love Karen for whatever reason on this show. However, how she's been conducting herself on this show has not done her any service. And I think it's only going to hurt her if prosecutors, I don't know if the prosecutors even need the footage from this season to use against her. They probably have enough evidence just based off of the police report, the body cam footage. But did they not take like a breathalyzer? They didn't take her blood? Nothing? But as soon as she released that statement, I said, oh, God, here we go. Karen's going to start using her mom, the mother and father card that passed away. Look, we understand, but Karen, it seems as if you were under the influence of something. Because literally within this report, they were reporting that Karen was slurring her words, that she was unsteady on her feet. Look. And some people have said they kind of noticed that Karen seemed a little bit off. When was it? Was it Watch What Happens Live? They said they felt like she was a little off. I don't know. I'm not going to accuse her of anything. What I am going to accuse her of is the facts of this situation. We're going to continue to follow this story, guys, but I wanted to give you an update because I saw this earlier today and I was like, oh, Lord, here we go, Karen. Look, Karen has every right to defend herself in this case. I just feel like she's going to make the situation worse for herself. Instead of just taking some sort of deal, she's going to make the situation worse for herself. Could she take a deal in between now and December? Possibly, if they're going to even offer her one. And if they were going to offer her one, at this particular point, I can't imagine it being good. I wonder if... Wait, hold on. Wait a second. Chosen by sarcasm? Empathy? Really? I think I'm being pretty empathetic to the possible victims that Karen could have hit and what she could have done for herself. You're not going to get empathy when it comes to driving under the influence for the second time. Please don't come over here with that, because I could be a lot worse. And I'm sure there are people that have been a lot worse. Just because I'm holding her accountable and because y'all are fans and refuse to hold her accountable. This is why I say be team you. You don't know these people and they don't care to know you. Just saying. Anyways, I say all that to say Karen has every right to defend herself in regards to her legal case. I just don't see it landing. Superstar says, Kempire, please find out about Kim and Croy. Why? Have they not gotten a divorce yet? Lord. Mia, yeah, because I don't know the rules in Maryland. Mia Price says refusing a breathalyzer here in California means loss of license for a year automatically. So I don't know. I don't know the rules. Someone in Maryland, we have a lot of y'all in the DMV. Can y'all hit me up with the rules? Can you refuse a breathalyzer? Was there a breathalyzer? Because clearly, if they thought she was inebriated, they should have taken a breathalyzer, did blood work, something. Did they arrest her? I don't see any information in regards to, I think they did say that she was arrested. Nubian says that no sympathy after say, look, but like I said, I could be a lot worse. But please understand, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, whoa, Karen. No, I'm not going to placate to a grown woman, a 61-year-old woman on her second DUI. And based off the details of the situation, they said they smelled alcohol on her breath. They said that she was slurring. They said that she couldn't stand up straight. And she decided to get into a car and make excuses for it. And now she's on Real Housewives of Potomac asking everyone to be like, oh, if you're not going to ride or die for me. I'm not going to ride or die for someone that decided to get into a vehicle inebriated. They could have took her own life, or she could have took one of your loved ones' life. Shout out to those of you that live in the DMV. How would you feel if that had happened? The way that her accident was, someone really could have been killed. Please understand, we're not going to take this lightly at all. You go take that to someone else. Go talk to someone else that has lost someone to drunk driving. Go talk to them. And honestly, I would have made, if as a producer, as an executive, like, Karen, you need to, on the show, honestly, that's probably should be the punishment. I don't know what the punishment is for all the citations that she received. I don't know what the citation is, what the results will be, but one of those results means that she should go speak with family members that have lost someone due to drunk driving. See, look, Vanessa says, I've been hit by a drunk driver, and by the grace of God, Vanessa's still here. So I'm not taking that lightly. And like I said, I've been pretty nice in comparison. I'm sure other people are dragging her up and down the street. Marigold, we did talk about Mike from Shahs of Sunset earlier in the video. If you're just joining us, we did talk a little bit about that. We're not going to show you the video, of course not, because that is triggering. And nobody needs to see that. Exactly. Your girl, Pay, says her need to save face is not helping her this time. No, this is too serious. Look at this. Sister on the Move says, we lost someone in high school due to drunk driving. She was only 17. Because God only knows, if Karen actually ended up hurting people, first of all, she'd be dealing with a lot more than what she's dealing with right now. But the guilt of it all. But I also think that the fans would be like, oh no, there is no way. Like, you just cause harm to someone else. I do feel like, Shannon is getting away a little too easy. Yes, Shannon has shown some accountability, but Shannon, we're still looking at you too. We're still looking at you too, because you could have harmed Archie. You could have harmed a lot of people the way you were driving. Funky, I'm not going to even show. See, that's how nice I am. I'm not going to even show what you said. But she's like, yeah, you've been nice in comparison to others. Fortune, thank you so much for the super sticker. We appreciate your support, guys. You can also support the channel just by liking the video. Sorry, I just had to go off. I was like, don't come over here asking for empathy, because I think I've been pretty damn nice in regards to the situation. Karen, get off your burner. Get off your burner account. Anyways, guys, I say all that to say I'm going to get out of here. It's 5:55. Make a wish. Look, make a wish. Thank you again, Fortune, for the super sticker. Rahina, thank you for the super sticker, for the super chat. Rahina says, Karen is so irresponsible at her big age, and I cannot picture my mom's doing this. Kempire, I lost a coworker because of a drunk driver. Come on. And the more that we cover this story, the more, like, luckily for me, I've never lost anyone due to a drunk driver. But since we've been covering this story, you know how many people have come through here and said that they've lost a loved one to a drunk driver? Think about how they feel. And a lot of the times, someone told us that I forgot what happened to the drunk driver, but they didn't get enough time for the punishment did not fit the crime. So, like I said, Karen Huger is very lucky that we're just talking about her getting hurt in this. And honestly, if she had lost her life, that would have been devastating to her family. Why am I yelling? Sorry. Passionate. Guys, if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts on everything that we discussed, from Mike from Shahs of Sunset to the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 9 taglines and how you would rate them. And let us know your thoughts on Karen Huger in her legal effort to have the evidence suppressed and this case dismissed. Good luck with that, Karen. We're going to continue to follow that story. And of course, if you enjoy content like this, be sure to like the video. Be sure to share the video. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I will see you in the next one. You never know. I might go live for an informal live later tonight. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are on. All right. See you guys later. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to KempireRadio.com.